guys, welcome back. In this video we are looking at Undone, the Sweater Song by Weezer. Definitely a classic, one that I listened to, I think it was in 8th grade, the Blue album. Listened to that over and over again. Lots of great tunes. This is a nice beginner one where you get to focus on lots of different concepts that are fundamentals you really want to have a good grasp on. Arpeggios, open chords, and then power chords, and with a little variation thrown in. So I'll talk about that in more detail once we get there. And there's a pretty unique sound that we're getting on these arpeggios where the last two notes of every arpeggio, well, at least of the G and the C chord, we're getting a lot of bite there. On the D chord, it's going to be still a lot of bite. They use that very effectively. They did it in Say It Ain't So as well. I don't know, I'm not familiar with their entire catalog, so I don't know if it exists anywhere else, but I know on those two tunes. And it works great. So the chord names you see might be pretty funky, but it's just, I think, a very intelligent use of an interval that has clash, but they're doing it in a musical way. So it's basically just G, C, D all the way through. Nice 1-4-5 progression if you've heard that terminology before. So I'm going to go finger 2 on string 6 fret 3, finger 1 on string 4 fret 2, and finger 3 on string 3 fret 3. String 5 is muted for this one. So we go 6, 4, 3, and 2 open. Now this is not a demanding arpeggio, so I think the picking directions you could do all down. You might be able to throw an up in there. I think I was doing something like down, down, up, down, but I think almost anything works. I wouldn't go up, 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 up or anything, but you know, I think typically most folks feel comfortable going down, and that will work here. The rhythm stays nice and steady. So really what you're thinking about here is, of course, moving the left hand around in time, just like we would have to do with strumming chords, but navigating that pick around the strings, right? Small movements, only moving as much as is necessary. And then we just bump that middle finger over to string 5 fret 3, and that's going to be our C variation. And then we slide up 2 frets with that same shape. I'm on string 5 fret 5, string 4 fret 4, and string 3 fret 5. And then right back to the C chord. Alright, so if you're having trouble finding those strings over here, if that's kind of where you're at with your playing, then put a lot of effort into this, right? So spend a lot of time on it and just think through it. Don't wrestle with maintaining the same habit. Look at what works, look at what doesn't work, change something, trial and error, experiment, okay? So, but it's always going to be small movements and relaxation. And then the hands are going to adapt as you start to find your way around. It just starts to make more sense based off of sense of touch and just that familiarity, right? I'm trying to think if there's anything else to mention there. Whenever you shift from here to here, frets 3 and 2 to 5 and 4, make sure that thumb follows. Really light on the picking. You can maybe hit that open second string with a little bit more volume, just because it's a very defining sound. You want to hear that interval there. But it sets you up for efficient movement, right? Because it's the same shape basically for every chord. The only thing we have to do is switch one string. So boom, 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 boom. That's it. Boom, 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 boom. Now one thing that you're probably going to have to practice is getting back into that shape, right? So that'll be a moment to think about when you're coming out of the chorus, and then so you could try building your fingers sequentially. That's probably the most efficient way of doing it. You could try and land all your fingers at once, but in any case, you want to be able to see that and feel that so the hand is comfortable in transitioning. That will most likely be the most challenging part of it all. Then we're going to go to just strumming open chords. So we've got G major, C major, D major, and then back to C major. So it's the same progression as the little arpeggio pattern that we were just playing, but now we're just using our traditional open chords. So one thing I think I did in the intro is once I went through it the first time, I changed my G fingering to 3-2-4. Right? And the reason for that is because it's much easier to get in and out of that shape to a C chord than it is to go from here to here. Now, we are going to have to do that from time to time. I'm doing it the first time because I'm setting my fingers up that way, and it's fine. But if I can limit movement, this is so easy comparatively, right? You just got to get the fingers comfortable. So probably where you get the most grief is from that pinky. But the more you use it, the more comfortable it gets. And if the hand is given the opportunity to relax in one instance, it's probably going to make everything else feel easier. Okay? So I started out with 2-1-3, C, D, C, and then I went 3-2-4. So it's just 4 down strums per chord. This is our verse. And I believe it only goes twice. And then we jump into power chords. G5, fret 3, 5, 5. And Weezer does this a lot where they throw in an extra bass note on these power chords that are to follow C5 and D5 here. So what you're going to do with that index finger is bar, partial bar, strings 6 and 5 at the 3rd fret. So you actually get a 4-string power chord. And all that does is just thickens up the sound a little bit more. Maybe you lose a little bit of the stability from having the root note in the bass position, but it's still the same chord. It's an inversion, but basically the same chord. We've got 2 roots and 2 fifths in there, if you were wondering. So G5 here again, just like the open chords, 4 down strums per chord. Then I'm just going to bounce fingers 3 and 4 down towards the floor, 1 string. I'm going to strum 4 strings. Slide the hand up 2 frets, 5, 5, 7, 7, 5, 5, 7, 7. And right back to C5. Back into the arpeggios. I think I may have jumped the gun and spoke too soon and said that the last part that we played was going to wrap it up for us. But this is the outro. We actually need to go over that real quick. So in the outro, we're basically using octaves all the way through. Octaves, we're playing, like the one we're going to start out with is string 5, fret 10, and string 3, fret 12. That's a G, and then a G, an octave higher or register higher. So here you want to make heavy use of muting. I've got my index finger on string 5 fret 10. I've got my ring finger on string 3 fret 12. My index finger is doing a whole lot of muting. I'm touching that 6th string and then everything else. So in particular, that 4th string has to be muted. Because we have to strum through 5, 4, 3. Okay, so muting will be something to play around with, or just how you have those fingers positioned. But in octave shape, great shape to know, something that you'll hear pop up in tunes quite often. And it's a cool sound. You know, really just kind of thickening up the sound of a single note, but it just has a different personality to it. So let me just walk us through the frets that we're going to encounter, and then I'll play through it slow. So we've got 10 and 12, 9 and 11, 7 and 9, 5 and 7. Then it's going to jump all the way up here to 17 and 19, and then 15, 17, 14 and 16, 12 and 14, 10 and 12, and then it comes back up, and we'll end up on 13 and 15 here. So, you know, but I'd say it'd be easier to hang on to what notes we're playing, but I can't assume that everybody just knows the notes or the theory behind that. So we're really going to be relying on those fret numbers. So I'll go through it slow so it's easy enough to practice. There's going to be a little bit of bouncing back and forth here. Cover a couple moments there that we need to talk about in maybe a little bit more detail, and then I'll go through it slowly, calling out all the fret numbers. So until we get to the next part, the relationship between these fingers on string 5 and 3, separated by a fret in the middle, is going to stay the same. Okay, so here I'm going to do a little slide like that. Do that one more time. Okay, and then when we jump up here, coming down to 14, up to 15, 12, up to 14, down to 10, back up to 12, and then 13 and 15, 16 notes strumming, down, up. Okay, let me go all the way through that slowly, calling out those fret numbers. 10, 9, 7, 5, 10, 9, 7, 5, 17, 15, 14, 15, 12, 14, 10, 12, 13. Okay, now here it jumps up to strings 3 and 1, so it's the same process, but we're actually separated by one more fret because this is based on the tuning of the strings. So we've got a B flat and a B flat there. So I'm on string 3 fret 15 and string 1 fret 18. And we're going to be transitioning between that and then 17 and 20, so 2 frets higher. 15, 18, 17, 20. And I'm using fingers 1 and 3 because I just felt that to be more practical. It was easier to maneuver. This is going to be all down up strumming here. So that's 4 beats of 15-18, 2 beats of 17-20, 2 beats of 15-18, right? 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a... I think you only do that twice, and then it jumps back into power chords over here. So crossing 3 strings, muting the string in between. You might have to play around with how you hold the pick, the amount of pressure you're putting on the pick. Playing something like octaves can make you rethink things a little bit. But yeah, that is the outro. That's really it. A pretty simple song, depending on if the video gets a little bit of traction, then maybe I'll put the solo out there, because certainly that would be worth playing around with. And I think it's this one where the progression changes completely, so the solo sounds pretty unique. It's like the soloist is still kind of playing in that G pentatonic, but the chord progression is shifted, I believe. But anyways, we can certainly give that a look if there's interest. So, like I've said in other videos, good fundamental stuff in a small package, right? Arpeggios, open chords, transitioning, maybe using some different fingers like on the G chord, and then the power chord with that added bass note that makes it an inversion. Maybe that's something new that you haven't seen. So these nice little steps or additions to what you already have, it's kind of what you're looking for. Take too big of a leap and it can feel a little jarring. So anyways, let me know if you have any questions. Have fun. See you in the next video. Thanks.